Hey guys, welcome to Tuesday at Two Lines. Hopefully everyone is having a great Tuesday. Coming off of a messy weekend in Ohio. We got hit pretty hard by the storms. Definitely not like North Carolina, and South Carolina and Georgia and Florida. Like, I don't want to compare what we did, but we did get some of the winds from the hurricane in Ohio, and it did a lot of tree damage. I have a very large maple tree in the front yard, and if I wouldn't have been at work, I probably had some substantial damage to my car because I had a pretty good limb, 400 or 500 pound limb, fall out of the tree and land right where I park every day. So, every evening. So yeah, I got lucky on that one. But so I spent the weekend cleaning up debris, and but we survived it. Everybody was fine. Got a busy week ahead. My kids are coming home this weekend, so I'm pretty excited about that, which means that maybe at some point, maybe Sunday night, we'll live stream some family racing. So I know that my daughter Caroline and her uncle Dusty have been doing some trash talking back and forth. So if we end up doing that, I'll probably throw the camera up and do another live stream like we did Sunday. Shout out to our buddy Danny. He was a first-timer here at Two Lines. I don't know if he's in the chat tonight or not, but Danny's a great guy. Known him for a long time, and he's an RC racer, and is kind of struggling with the club that he goes to, and so we kind of talked him into swinging by, and he ran about, 6-8 different cars. I was throwing different cars on the track, and I need to send him some links to some cars, but number one, he loved the Nissan Slotted Group C car. He loved the Toyota GT1 Revo slot. He liked the Thunder slot Ferrari. He got to run that for a little bit. And then he ran a Legends car because he likes Legends cars and things like that. So, but shout out to Danny. Thanks for coming over, man. It was fun. It was fun getting to introduce somebody and teaching them about how the track works and cars and tuning, and we just had a great time. So, right now I'm working on doing some tuning to my Thunderslot Ferrari. This week is the first week of racing at Cincy Slots. And I will have to admit my cars are not ready, and I'm hoping I get to go on Thursday. Dusty and John Mark are headed there. My kids come into town late Thursday night, so I think I have the ability to get to Cincinnati, get back, get to Columbus, pick them up. It's really, really busy, but my wife was already dropping hints about we have so much to do before the kids get here. So she might freak out if I bail on Thursday night, the night that the kids are coming in. So to go slot car racing. We'll see. But I've got to move a bunch of stuff in my schedule like every week to make it happen. So we're still trying to get cars ready. For some reason, I can't get the weight to stick in this car, so I'm going to glue the weight down. This car runs pretty good on this track, but I still need to do some things to it. I'll probably run my M6A. Headless Horseman is what we like to call it. So that's good. But I don't know. Let's see who all has made it to the chat. Oh gosh, I saw a question. I know they're 12 volt. Here's a question from Joe. Says, do you know what amperage is needed for the mag racing floodlights? I know they are 12 volt, but can't find the amperage. Okay. So I'm running them off of Greg from Clearwater 124 in the chat sent me in the mail an old train transformer, and that's 12 volts. I would say it's a couple of amps. I did try to run the lights off of a 12 volt, probably, I don't know, it was less than 1 amp power supply, and it ran 2 lights fine. But as soon as I plugged a third light into it, they would start pulsing. So that told me that it didn't have enough amperage. So I think that if you find a transformer that it's 12 volts, 12 volts in at least 1 or 2 amps, you'll be fine. And you'll be able to hook all your lights up to it. Because they don't draw a whole lot. But I did notice that the $15 12 volt power supply from Walmart did not have enough power to power all of my lights. And so that would have been my 2 light towers, my 2 lines signed from Racetrack Scenics, my light towers from Magnetic Racing, and from Pete, the Show Me Slots pit garage. It did not have enough amperage to power all of those. So as soon as I'd plug the third light in, it would start pulsing. So when I changed over to the train, it's like an old Lionel 12 volt transformer rheostat, which you can dim those lights, but it maxes out at 12 volts. And I think that it's, let me look. It doesn't say the amp rating on it. It's an old transformer, but it works great. So you could always pick up one of the power supplies like I'm running on my track. I think a couple weeks ago you could pick it up for $38 on Amazon, and it was a 20 volt 10 amp or 30 volt 10 amp, and that would power just about anything. You can also run it off of one of the little cheap 12 volt power supply that we use for the tire truers. That would be a good one too. So let me jump back to the beginning. Who else here? Phil Russo is in the house. Buzzkill is in the house. Oh wait, Buzzkill, I'm supposed to call you by your name. Oh no, it escaped me right as I said your name. Hit me with your name again in the comments. Like I said, once I figure out your name, I stop using your handle. But the channel's getting big enough that it's getting hard to remember everybody. So John Tucci is in the house. Chris is in the house. Phil, the building is part of the fun. There you go. I do enjoy building my layouts. That's for sure. Chris Freder is in the house. Good evening, Chris. Thanks for joining. John Tucci. Doug Burbridge. Good evening, everyone. Doug is in the house. So shout out to all of you that hung out on Sunday and watched us do some racing. That was fun. I appreciate it. Nobody's home. Daniel. Hey, Daniel. Oh, Daniel, yes. I meant to respond to your text. I apologize. I got busy at work, but I was going to send you a couple of little tips based on our conversation. So maybe tonight after the live stream, I'll follow up with you just so you have it. George, while George is here, George sent us some test bodies, and this is the Demon. This is a resin printed. Guys, the camera, I'm not sure does it justice. This is a really, really good car, a really good body. It is super clean. I'm going to hit it with a coat of primer. I don't know what color I'm going to paint it yet, but we're going to have fun with it. And the other body he sent was the Buick Grand National. And that body looked really, really good too. And my brother snatched that up pretty quick. I could tell that was the car he wanted. But we're going to build these for the showdown. And hopefully we can model them and make Harry and George and Shotgun Dave proud of the cars. So, guys, these are starting to show up at Slot Car Corner. I don't know if you noticed Slot Car Corner's post on Facebook yesterday. Maybe it was Saturday, or maybe it was Monday, with all the different resin bodies these guys are printing that he has in stock, that Steve has in stock. So if you're interested in some of these bodies, go check it out. And proceeds go to help Home Racing World, which is awesome. You guys know that forum is just a wealth of knowledge. They sponsor the proxy races, the showdown races. They do a lot for the hobby, and we're just proud to be a kind of a small part in those guys, with those guys. So we'll make you proud. Build some resin bodies, all good stuff. Also in there was some driver figures and some wheel inserts too. So you can get all that at Slot Car Corner. A little plug there for you, George. But I actually just got off the phone with George a few minutes ago. We were catching up tonight. I sent him some of my peppers. I make these candied peppers, and the banana peppers this time, George, were new. I had never candied banana peppers, but everybody tells me that those are maybe even better than the jalapenos, which I haven't cracked open a jar yet to try them, but I'm waiting for my kids to get here on Thursday, and I've got a couple jars left, and we'll probably crack them open and wipe them out this weekend. But it was good that you guys enjoyed those. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate you and your friendship. Daryl Rogers. Daryl is prepping for Thursday night at Cincy Slots. He probably has no less than 15 cars tuned and ready to roll. He's always ready to lend somebody a car. So, good stuff. Thanks for being here, Daryl. Appreciate you. Hat or hair gel? It will be not gel. I don't really use gel, Chris. I do use paste or clay. I have about 4 different things that I kind of, depending on what length my hair is, I use. And so right now, tonight, I have a wax in it. So, yeah. So hair gel is wrong. It's hair wax. I will say that it does smell good. Valentine, 1983. Elmer, good evening. Welcome. Hey, Patrick. Since I'm shouting out for Patrick sent an update last night to Faslaps. And I don't know if anybody out there is running Faslaps at home. I know a couple of you might be. Great update. I thought I would talk a little bit about that tonight, Patrick. Maybe I'll show it on the track. But he did something. He changed up the race screen. So one of the things that is really cool about Faslaps is it can work really well in a commercial environment where, if I'm a club track or a commercial track, where in between races, it'll kick on a slideshow, and which is really pretty cool. So you could put your own images in there, announcements about future races, all kinds of things, right, to rotate through images, just like a PowerPoint that's built into the program. And one of the things I thought would be cool, and we had talked a lot about that race screen, is it would be cool if it flashed like the race that's coming up so people can see what order the next race is, and then it could rotate to the standings. Because I complain about some of the other programs that we use at other tracks, and that you can't see, you can't see until the very end, like the leaderboard, right? And so at Cincy Slots, no one really knows who the winner is. We kind of have an idea, right? But it flashes so fast on the screen and it's so small and hard to read that you don't know exactly how many laps you have, and you don't know who's in first, second, third, fourth, fifth. You don't know what the standings are. And so it rotates through those screens in between races. And so especially if you're auto playing the race, if you don't have a race director sitting there like pushing things to the screen and it's on auto, it kicks on, shows you who's in the next heat, which is pretty cool. Future coming to the race screen is who's on deck or up next. Patrick is adding that. That was one of the things, the feedback that we got racing at Greg's was nobody knew who was next. And you don't realize so we would have to call out who's in the next race. Not that difficult, especially if somebody's standing in front of the director. But to have that on the screen during the previous race, when I know that I'm up next, I could see it, that I'm on deck, I'm up next. That's really cool. So that'll be a great feature that's coming. But the rotation of screens in between races, even if it's only like 1 minute, it'll rotate through a couple of images, throw the race that's coming up and the order, so you can see what order they're supposed to be in the lanes, and then it'll go to the standings, and so you can see the standings of the race, which is what I'm showing right here on the screen. That's the final standings leaderboard, and it just looks really, really good. So Patrick, well done. I know there are some other fixes that you put in this latest update. It's really good. Well done. I'm excited about using it this weekend when the kids come home, but I'm really excited about using it on the 19th when we race here. We can really, it just does a great job of managing a race. So I know I've become a big cheerleader for Faslaps, guys. Sorry. I'm not really trying to push an agenda, but I've really enjoyed working with Patrick on that. So there you go, Patrick. The Fingers is in the house. Daryl Rogers, where are you at, boy? Was I late? I don't think I was late. Hey, Kirby. Good to have you. D.W. Barker is in the house. Greg is here. Here we go. HSF is here. Welcome. Welcome. You get your beer and pretzels. You're ready to go. So HSF says, I went to the local hobby shop to pick up a model for my first scratch build and was shocked at how much models are. I've never shopped for them before and was expecting much lower prices. HSF, I think that, well, let me adjust this. I don't like how there we go. I like that better. I think that the best place to buy models, if they have what you want, is when Hobby Lobby has them for like 50% off. They'll do like 40% or 50% off. That is like a good time to buy model kits. But yeah, model kits they're not cheap anymore. That's for sure. Hey, Brandon in Durango. Brandon, it looks like I'll probably be heading out to Colorado in December for a few days, just before Christmas to visit my kids. We're thinking about doing that, so I might be out there, but I'm still not super close to Durango, if that's where you're at. Hey, Clearwater, I was just talking about you. Who else do we have? Slightly Mad. Yeah. Again. Yeah, it was not damaged. Nope. It held up to the shipping. Not a problem. Hey, Terry. Good evening. Joe, good evening. Thanks for joining. Hey, Ben. Uncle and niece trash talking slot cars. Oh, yeah. That's kind of been their thing. Dusty and Caroline, they tend to kind of go back and forth. That's kind of their relationship. Hey, Tad. Thanks for joining. Good to have you. HSF, the trash talk with family slot car racing is the best. Oh, my kids are super competitive. My oldest daughter, Maddie, she comes out of the slot. She gets so mad. It's hilarious. We laugh a lot down here. I will tell you, my wife, she doesn't love the slot car stuff because it takes up a lot of my time. But she's kind of given up on it, on giving me a hard time about it. But she does hate it when the girls come home and they want to come down to the track and race. Caroline had a friend home to visit, and for 2 straight nights, they were down here till like 2 or 3 in the morning racing. I finally, like at 1, I was like, I'm giving up, girls. I got to go to bed because I got to go to work in the morning. And they would stay down here for a couple more hours. They really had a good time. And so I love the fact that they're enjoying it when they come home, and they've already started, earmarking cars that they love to drive, and that's theirs. I have a feeling that this is the car that they will fight over this weekend, except for they're not going to get to drive it. So that's my Nationals race car. They can race this 908, but not Roxy. So, all right, back to hey, Nick. Daniel Thomas is in the house. Good evening. Yeah, we're in good shape. We got everything cleaned up, and it wasn't too bad. We got lucky. We've had rain the last 4 days, 5 days. It's been pretty steady nonstop. My grass has not grown in 2 months. It's been 5 weeks since I mowed grass last. And like I didn't even have weeds growing. That's how dry it's been. 40-year, the worst drought we've had in Ohio, in this area of Ohio, in 40 years. And we've had 5 days of rain. We're probably up around, 7 or 8 inches of rain or more in this last 5 days. So that's been really good. I need to mow my grass now because it did warm up a little bit today. And the grass, I came home from work and I was like, I wish it wasn't raining because I would mow. So, hey, Dusty. Thanks for tuning in, dude. Oh, we already covered this one. What amperage? That's cool. I don't know if anybody took care of that. B2. Sorry, B2. It took me a while to get back down to your question. When adding weight to your cars, what product are you using? Solid lead sheets, tungsten putty. So B2, I don't know if anybody else has answered this, but here's my answer. I use a combination of all of that. So I really like the lead sheets that you can cut to fit in certain, like for motor pods and things like that. But if it's an NSR car, the way they do the dots, that is where you put those in the NSR motor pod is the best location for weight in NSR cars. So like it really, you have that adjustment. You can move it towards the front. You can move it back towards the motor. But it really seems like we like to use that weight in NSR cars. In my Thunder slot, I am just doing some cut lead weight. I had a piece of lead fall out that was laying right here, and now I don't see it. There it is. That I need to re-glue because it was rattling around in the car. But yeah, so we use a combination of different types of weight. So, but the tungsten putty, what I like about the tungsten putty is you can put it in places that maybe it's kind of hard to get, but it gets a little messy. So we like to use it up around when you feel like you need a little bit of weight up around the guide, because usually that pocket's kind of small, like in this Thunder slot. I've got some weight that's just laying in there. That's not, I don't have it in there crooked. It needs glued in because it keeps falling out. But right there, right behind the guide, you can see is a good place to put weight. And the easiest thing to put there that's substantial enough to make a difference is the putty. So what I like to do is usually tune and figure out how much weight the car likes using putty, and then I kind of replace it with lead. And then again, if it's an NSR car, I'm putting the dots in the motor pod. And they're a little expensive when you but they're so convenient. And once you put them in there, they're locked in. You're good to go. But that's what I like to use B2. Hopefully that answered your question. Hey, Jim. Jim, great video today. It's pretty exciting to see some new cars being released. Appreciate your coverage on that. That was all good. It looks like you guys had a pretty good race. That track is really nice. You said it was one of the older tracks in the rotation there in California, where you guys kind of go from track to track, which I think I'm a little jealous of. We used to have that here in Ohio, I guess, and then it kind of died off. So maybe us Ohio guys, we can put a circuit back together where we do a rotation over the summer or something. Each month there's a race at somebody's track and have a summer series. But yeah, Jim, that's cool. Shout out to Ian Douglas. The paint job on the 908, the NSR 908 was sweet, and it looked like he got it running pretty good too. So maybe he's prepping for coming to Michigan for the NSR Nationals. Maybe the car would look good on the track. I'm sure we would welcome him if he wanted to make the trip to Michigan. Who else we have? Yeah, George uses the thin golf tape. I have some of that too in my kit, my box. And it's nice if you need something really thin. A lot of the track rules do not allow weight on the bottom of the chassis because it might drag the track, and I get that. So most of the places they require it on top of the chassis. But if you need to get super precise, that thin stuff is really, really nice. And you can pick it up at Dick's Sporting Goods or any golf shop, pro shop. HSF with a question: where are you placing your weight on your Thunder Slot Ferrari? I'm placing the weight right in front of I've got a little bit up near the guide, but this piece I'm going to glue right in front of. I want the weight right in front of the motor, and it's still pretty light. I don't usually go too heavy on my cars. Dusty and I were comparing. His Thunder Slot is 7 or almost 8 grams heavier than mine, but he seems to be able. It seems to make it drive a little better. So I'm actually going to cut a new piece of lead and put in there and see if I can't bring my weight up a little bit and see if it impacts how my car performs. The Ferrari's already running 4.8s, 4.9s on a good day. 5.0s are really, really consistent. And so, but to keep up with Dusty, he's running 4.6s with his Thunder Slot. Yeah, that's 2-3 tenths off of him. That'll put me 2 or 3 laps behind. Not that I don't, not that I'm not competitive with Dusty, but it just tells me what to expect from the usual suspects and how fast their cars will run at Cincy slots. So, HSF, I hope that helps. It's just like Norm at Cheers, Dusty. Yeah, hey, Slightly, welcome. Thanks, No Drama. Hey, Hobbit, welcome. Tony, I meant to send you the link to that 3D printed chassis. I have it for the CUDA, and what I love about it, and I'm sure the Camaro will be the same thing. I'm looking for a scaly Camaro, but look at the stance of that. I mean, that thing's the stance is fantastic. Looks really, really good. Is pretty quick on the track, and so I think that you might try that if you want. The kit I think is $20. Slot Car Corner had them. I think Professor Motor has them. Pretty cool. I think it's a worthy upgrade. if you want to invest a little extra money, I think you'll be very, very happy with the performance. But I appreciate your video. That's good stuff. That's a great looking car. My dad actually has a 70 Camaro Z28, and I would like to paint one up that looks like his. I think that would be great. So, but if I was going to do it, it would have to have a stance like that, because that's how my dad's car sits. So, but welcome. Thanks for being here tonight. I'll be in it to win it. D.W. Barker. That's what we want to hear. Cool. Thanks for doing that. Let's see here. Anybody else? Yeah, no problem. I'm way behind on the chat, guys. Sorry. Chris, B2, I'm using slotted tungsten pucks, 1 gram Pinewood Derby, squares, and lead tape designed for racket sports. There you go. Chris, I even gave you a Dick's Sporting Goods plug. If you need a bicycle, go see Chris. Thanks, George. Appreciate you dropping the link. That'll help. Daniel says 12 volts, 5 amp constant, 7 amp surge power supply. There you go. Ultimate power corrupts. Hey, Shane. Thanks for joining. Good to see you. Sending you a picture of the power supply running my mag lights on Discord. There you go. We use lead sheet, tungsten putty, and the tungsten weights made for NSR and slot it. Yeah. Those just seem to work really well for us. And it's usually a combination of all of it. Depends on how much weight we need to. An old Lionel transformer will work great, and there are multiple choices in amperage. Watch yard sales and flea markets, pretty cheap. Yeah, and Greg, the one I have works great. You guys don't know this, but maybe you do. Maybe I've talked about it. But my track, I have smart outlets. So when I walk down here, I'll tell Alexa to welcome race fans, and the lights kick on, the track power kicks on. It's all automated. I enjoy home automation stuff, so it's a little overkill. Yeah, I was worried about George too. North Carolina they just got rocked with rain. Problem is they had a rain come through like a day or two before the hurricane hit them. So they already had like 4 or 5 inches of rain from another storm system that came through, and then all of a sudden the hurricane backed that up. It was nuts. D'Angelo, thank you. So I have I lock that in my brain. Thank you, D'Angelo. I actually thought that was what it was, but I didn't want to. Tony and I had this conversation last week. I didn't want to mess it up. So thanks, D'Angelo. Thanks for bailing me out, brother. I appreciate it. Hey, Gary. Welcome. Hobbit. Oh, yeah, I know we were talking slot cars, but being in Florida, I have to say I hope everyone on the East Coast and parts inland are okay. Yeah, so my aunt, I have an aunt and uncle, that's my wife's aunt and uncle, that live in Paso Girl Beach, and the storm surge there was pretty brutal. But they got so lucky. They got water in their porch, but not in the rest of the house. So it held up to the storm surge and didn't let a bunch of water in. So their porch and their garage had water in it. And so they were prepared. But the problem is they went to Asheville, North Carolina to hang out with Jen's uncle to make sure he was okay. And they got all that rain. So it was kind of crazy. Hey, Vin. Good evening. George, the Grand National Body is awesome. Yeah, it is. It's really cool. Big Steve, you're getting ready for a big 6-hour enduro. The last one we did that with Butch, and I'm afraid we won't get. We probably aren't going to get to do that at the wood track this year. But Butch is not feeling up to it. So, good thoughts for him, our buddy Butch. Hey, Michael Squire, welcome. D.W. Barker, Hobbit actually in Florida now, celebrating wife's birthday at Disney. Looks like more rain for you all next week. Just a lot of rain to take in. But at least Florida, all that sand, you guys can deal with it. Yeah, Dusty snatched up the Grand National. It looks good. Yeah, Tony, George and Harry and Shotgun Dave are killing it, man. Yeah, it's so nice. You hate to cut the fender wells out to make it a showdown car. At least you know you can get another one. What's the Grand National character on Cars? That is Lightning McQueen's nemesis. Click, Chick, something I can't remember. That copies his ka-chow. That's what you need painted up, Dusty, like that. What else do we have? Mark B is in. Welcome, Mark. John Tucci, can't wait till the driver figures get to Slot Car Corner. Yeah, John, these driver figures, they are really, really good. I like them. And they'll definitely make it easy, especially if you're making a card tray. So, Simon, do the Sideways Group 5 cars have different wheelbases? Local track favors a short wheelbase and looking into this class. Simon, we actually race Sideways Group 5 this month. Thursday night is our opening race. I have 3 Group 5 cars. Had to grab them out of my box. So from a wheelbase standpoint, I have the Capri. I have the Skyline. And I have the M1. And if I set these down, let's move I'll put them down here. Let's compare the wheelbases. I should be able to switch over to the phone. There you go. You can see that these wheelbases are pretty much all the same. So the chassis are very similar, and the wheelbases are all the same. Now, I think I have access to a couple more. Hold on. So if you're looking for one that's a shorter wheelbase, you'll want to go with this. And this is the Lancia Stratos. And it is, you can see the difference. There's the difference in the wheelbase. So I would say that the Group 5 cars that have the short wheelbases are the Lancia. This is a very quick car. This is John Mark's car. Looks great in the Golf livery. It handles really, really well. But this and Dusty, you might check the Escorts and the BMWs all are similar with the shorter wheelbase. So Simon, if you want a shorter wheelbase, go with those. If you want a longer wheelbase, go with the M1, the Skyline, or the Capri Mustang. You can get this in lots of different liveries. My fastest car is my M1. This has been my best Group 5 car. This one runs really well. It's just a slightly off pace. And this one is just about the same, runs similar lap times as the M1. So, Simon, hopefully that helps. Great class. I really, really enjoy the Group 5 cars. I did not like them when we first started racing, but they have grown on me. I really like sideways cars because of it, but I'm really falling in love with a lot of the different Group 5 cars. I probably could own 4 or 5 more, but I keep telling myself no. He uses Dapper Dan. I am so far behind in this chat. 2 lines, Mad P, thanks. Yeah, 2 lines, hair care. So hopefully that helps. Hey, Patriot Racing. Let's see. I used to have a guy that used to give me a hard time for wearing a hat on camera. He's like, why would anybody that still has a full head of hair wear a hat? That was fair. Hey, Steve. What's going on, man? Thanks for joining. Hopefully I get to go on Thursday. But I know Dusty and John Mark are planning to go, and I'm planning to. I just got to rearrange tons of stuff in my schedule. My schedules are always screwed up. Good call on that, Marty. We need to see these things as a competition after all. How else do you know who you're chasing down? That's right. Daryl doesn't like seeing how far down he is until the end of the race. Don't need it rubbed in. Whatever, Daryl. Daryl likes to sandbag about his driving skills. Wax on, wax off. That's right. Yeah, Daryl's ready. Steve's ready too. Steve will act like he's not ready, but we know he's got his cars tuned up. Kara Bridges, hello everyone from Western PA. The rain has stopped after 5 days. Fortunately, our Wednesday racing at Tailspin Hobbies is indoors. Awesome. Are you racing tonight? Wednesday? Well, tomorrow night, Wednesday racing. There you go. Kara Bridges, I need to look up your raceway. I'm always curious to see what people's layout looks like and what type of track you're racing on. So I'll have to look that up. They probably have a Facebook page, right? Patrick, do you still have me in the queue for Faslaps? Or should? Oh, okay, that's Daniel. Yeah, Daniel, he just built my the sensors and using the Arduino, so he has the track components to do it. Patrick actually asked me that last night, if I had a video, and I've been working on an install video on how to build the Arduino with like IR brake track sensors. So I'll try to finish that video. Maybe it'll get out this week. But if anybody has any questions about that, just send me an email. I'm happy to kind of give you my rundown. It's not as complicated as what people think. You have to drill, 4 holes for a 4-lane track, 2 holes in your track, but wiring up the sensors is really, really easy. And then I can walk through the pin numbers on the Arduino. And then usually the software has the Arduino code. So depending on what software you're using. But if anybody needs help with that and has questions if you need it before the video releases, which could be this Saturday, depends on how I'm officiating a wedding, my niece's wedding on Saturday. We've got Friday night. I usually work on my videos after work. I've got rehearsal dinner, and with my kids in town, it might be tough to get to it this weekend, but maybe tomorrow night I can jump on that and get it done. So I have a DS Racing IR bridge and was curious if anyone has used it with an Arduino. I don't think there's any reason, D'Angelo, why you would not be able to use the DS Racing IR bridge, because the IR is basically 3 wires. It's a positive and negative on the top, pointing down the track, and then the sensor at the bottom is positive, negative, and then the signal. And so you tie the positive and negatives together into one wire to take it to the Arduino. And so all of your positives, all your grounds, and then your signal is what goes into the Arduino for the lanes. So like Faslaps uses AO or A0, A1, A2, A3. That's for 4-lane. And so you would take the signal from lane 1 and put it in A0, the signal from lane 2 into A1, A2, lane 3, A4, or A3 would be lane 4. And then the track call is 12 on the Arduino. And if you're doing power control, your let's see, I think that goes into 5, maybe. I would have to look, but that should help you. So, D'Angelo, you should be able to, as long as you can separate those off of those individual wires off of the DS racing bridge. I don't know what the end of that looks like. It might be they may have created a plug for it to make it super easy. I wouldn't cut the plug off, but you might wire the other opposite side of that plug to the Arduino, so that you can easily plug it in and unplug it. But I can give you some tips on that if you want. But there's no reason why it should not work with the Arduino code. Steve says Daryl is one of my teammates too. Fashionably late, John. That's all right. You haven't missed a whole lot. Heck, it's almost 9 o'clock already. That's time flies. Hey, Todd. Welcome, Todd. Todd posted again the Naps. Oh, that reminds me. One of the winners of the Tire Truer, the TT1A Tire Truer, did not respond. So I will be giving one more of those away, and I just need to send the name and address to NAP. So I will go through and do a random drawing from the live stream comments before we go. So if somebody is interested in that, in the comments, tell me you're interested in the Tire Truer, and we'll make sure that it goes to somebody that that needs it and would use it. Anyway, what else do we have? Hey, Shotgun Dave. It's your dinner time, bro. No worries. Yes, Daniel. I must have missed that. We would love to have you down. There you go. Chris says Hobby Lobby has 40% off. Daniel, wish Cincy was closer. Would like to race with you guys. Daniel, I know. That's the problem. We're also spread out, but it is fun when you get a chance to join in the fun. So, anyway. Brandon, everything is 6 hours from Durango. Dude, you're south. You are way south in Colorado, and my kids are way north in Colorado. So, yeah, it probably is about 6 hours from Fort Collins to get to you. James Tharp, Mets just beat the Brewers. My buddy Mike Throne will be very happy that the Mets won. James, I forgot that actually was on TV. My wife and I are watching Only Murders in the Building. Anybody watching that show? And so that comes out on Tuesdays, and we were eating dinner, and my wife is like, before your live stream, do you want to watch Only Murders? So we're watching that show. That's fun. So I missed the baseball because of it. Yeah, Shotgun Dave, no worries, bro. I always feel bad when people apologize. You don't need to apologize to me. It's all good. Chris, Marty, do you need a timing light bridge to use Faslaps? Chris, you need some type of timing. I've tested the other sensors and we were having problems with them, but Patrick kind of reworked the code and I think we fixed all that. And so I need to go back and test. I do know that the photo eye sensors work with the Arduino and the new Arduino code for Faslaps. They all work with Race Coordinator as well. The guide flag sensors, which is what I really wanted to use. And we know that all dead strips work. So you can really kind of choose just about anything you want, and it will work with Faslaps. So hopefully that helps, Chris. If you have any more questions, just send me a message. We can talk about it. Tony, your father-in-law has a train shop in Durango? Yeah, Daniel, you need to come to the house and race on this too. Daryl needs to come up sometime too. Excuse me. SLOTCAR, welcome. Hey, Eric, welcome. Welcome. DJ Patrick. Welcome, Patrick. Good to have you. So anything else? I'm going to destroy my GT car bodies trying to strip them. Oh, man. Hopefully not, Dusty. Hopefully you'll be able to get the paint off of them without damaging anything. Yeah, man. Multitask. No worries. Yeah, Tad, mine is too. Sorry. At least the backyard is green from the first time in months. Right. Yeah, Todd, you needed we needed it. Oh, yeah. I know you guys have been in drought as well out in Iowa. The rain was a little too late for us from our crops. I think the farmers were surprised maybe. Daniel, you use fishing tungsten putty. There you go. Yeah, sometimes you can find the tungsten putty in greater amounts because people use that to weigh down fishing lures. So sometimes you can find it. I look for it at our Dick's Sporting Goods and I couldn't find it. I could found it online though. Yeah, B2, you can't let your car sit in a hot car with tungsten putty. It melts and runs all over the place. Yeah, it gets messy. That's the one thing I don't like about it, but it's super convenient to use. So, Slot R, welcome, buddy. Doing the rain dance in NorCal. Yeah, man. John, we've had a lot of rain. We've not had a lot of rain all summer, but we've had a lot of rain the last five days. B2 has another question. Marty, where are you getting your lead sheets? B2, I've ordered the lead sheets. I've gotten them from Bruce at Cincy Slots. He usually keeps some of that stuff in stock. A lot of times I get it from Slot Car Corner. I've gotten it from Professor Motor. They all have a little different adhesive on them. The Professor Motor has some really strong adhesive, and so I really like the Professor Motor sheets. Now you used to be able to find like rolls of lead for like roofing and flashing and stuff like that. But I don't know if you can find that stuff anymore. Maybe online, and then that's probably a cheap way to get it. But the sheets are pretty convenient from Slot Car Corner. LEB, any of the retailers, they'll have them. I think George had a link earlier to some of the weight. Yep, Kirby says Slot Car Corner has it. The tungsten putty definitely needs something to trap it. So it's great for little pockets in the plastic chassis and motor pods. When there is a pocket. What else do we have? Chris, it's been raining here all day. I came home and was hoping to mow my grass, and I couldn't. I find that most ThunderSlot cars, no matter the model, need a pancake of weight. They're just too light, even for my track at 9.5 volts. Tony, you have a wood track. That's a great layout, by the way. I really enjoy that layout. But yeah, the ThunderSlots, they do like some weight. Lead sheet is cheap enough, and you can cut and shape. A dot of shoe goo is your friend. I usually I use shoe goo, or I use hot glue. I've got a hot glue gun, and that's really good. That's what I need to get out to fix the lead in the Ferrari that I've got here on the bench. Slot R is blue. Slot R blue tacks everything. See, I didn't think they made that stuff anymore. The last time I remember seeing blue tack was when I was in elementary school. I'm joking. Nice stances, low rider. Well, Hobbit, man, I am so far behind on comments. The thing about the stance is to get those, like, you really improve the performance of those Trans Am cars by getting that stance down. They look good. They really look good. Jerry, hi folks. Sorry to be late. Just got home from club racing. No, man, never apologize if you're out racing. That's fantastic. Maybe you can just turn us on at the club, and everybody at the club could chime in. I have a Lola ThunderSlot, and it rips on my track. Upgraded guide and original rubber tires destroys. Yeah, man, dude, the ThunderSlots are they're some of my favorites. But I have to tell you, I love my NSR 908. It's a fun drive. Really enjoying it. Hey, Slot Car League of Champions, welcome. It won't work. The chassis and pod are too soft, and it will drag the track. You can use the Piranha or the Predator 25K motors with magnetic downforce, and they run awesome. I didn't see what we're talking about. Going to install magnets in your ThunderSlot. Gotcha. John says, I got an infection in my finger once from a lead cut. Now I hammer the edges with a small ball peen hammer on a jeweler's anvil. With your finger? Or you hammer the edges. Oh, gotcha. Okay, I'm tracking with you. You take the lead after you cut it so that it's not sharp, and you soften that edge. Dusty, I just got your text. 92 watching, 31 likes. Please press the button. It gets the stream out there more. Thanks, Dave. I appreciate that. Hey, John Mark. What's up, brother? Good to have you. Jamie. We got to race with Jamie a couple weeks ago. That was good. Jamie, it was good to catch up, man. Good to catch up. Agreed, Daryl. Weight, not by use of magnets. ThunderSlot chassis are like taffy. Yeah, they are really, really soft. And I feel like this chassis on the Ferrari is even softer. It is just so soft. And it flexes so much that's why the adhesive doesn't stay on the weight that I put in it. I'll drive 15 or 20 laps, and all of a sudden I hear the weight rattling around in the body. It drives me crazy. So it's getting glued down tonight. Hey, Danny. Welcome. Home automation is awesome. Where did you go? There. Yeah, home automation is awesome. I love that I can walk down here and go, hey, Alexa, turn off. I don't want to say it too loud because she'll turn off the track. That's funny. 2 grams in the front, both rear wheels, and 2 grams in the center of the chassis. Remember, I'm tuning for my layout. My other Thunder slot requires more grams. Yeah, you definitely want to tune to your track and your layout, but I think that some, like what people are saying, it really gets you close, and then you can just do some fine tuning based on how the car's reacting. So. Yeah, DeFingers, thanks. They were very fortunate. Um, thanks, I appreciate that. Wire 4 tiny RC Hilo motors into a car. Anyone came on? Timothy. Timothy, you need to check out Tad's videos. He did a dual motor, a Lambo for Shotgun Dave's Faslap proxy. Good stuff. That is a fast car. It was fun. A good friend did some of the animation for Disney Pixar. See you, Hobbit. Take care. We race them at Cincy Slots along with all the other brands. I'm trying to catch up. Nothing wrong with Carrera cars. Just run them in class with other Carrera cars. Greg, yep. We've said that a million times on the live stream. Nothing wrong with Carrera cars. They're great cars. They are bulletproof. They're perfect for beginners. They're perfect for anybody. Digital racing, I recommend using them and not using other brands because they just won't hold up to the digital racing. But as long as you're running them in brand, you're good to go. The BMWs are short. PP Dangler. Okay. Thanks, guys. I don't know what the question was. Oh, newbie. Got it. I have Carrera track cars, but I see most YouTubers don't race Carrera cars. Are they not as good? What's up with that? No, I think that, like, for me and, like, we race at Cincy Slots. This first month, they race 2 analog classes, and then the rest of the months they race, except for the last month, they do 2 analog classes again. But they always run an analog and a digital, and the digital are always Carrera. So, but I just think that there are a lot of channels that focus on Carrera. My channel, I focus on lots of stuff. It's been a while since I've purchased a Carrera car. I need to pick up some for this season, get tuned and ready to go. So I'll do reviews on those once I buy them. I just haven't decided what I want. And really what the problem is some of these other companies are putting out cars that I just have to have. So I'm putting these analog cars kind of in front of some digital Carrera cars. So don't have a problem with Carrera. The Carrera NASCAR cars, can't wait to get my hands on one of those. Those look so good. So, and you'll see tons. They're already starting to come out. Harry Wise just released a video yesterday, I think. Dave Kennedy sent him the purple Ally Bank car. That thing looks great. Chick Hicks, that's right. Ka-chow. Chick Hicks. So that's how Dusty needs to paint his. That's great. Daniel, question: preferred long or short wheelbase? Daniel, that's going to be really depending on the track. I'll just be honest. Simon says, perfect. Thank you for the sideways comparison on the wheelbase for Group 5. Yeah, Simon, if you have more questions, hit me up. But yeah, I think if you stick with the BMW, the Escort, the Stratos, the Lancia Stratos, those are all the shorter wheelbase cars. All the other cars are pretty close. And then there's a couple of cars. The Ferrari 512B has a really long wheelbase. It's just a little bit longer than these cars that I was comparing. So, but going back to Daniel's question, preferred long or short base, it's really going to depend on the track, to be honest with you. And we see that all the time, that sometimes, depending on the type of car, the longer wheelbase does better. And like rule of thumb is tight technical tracks, the shorter wheelbases, cars tend to do better, but I've seen some long wheelbase cars get around a track really, really well and are competitive. So I think a lot of it has to do with the actual layout that you're on. You always want to tune your car to the layout you're racing on. You can always get it close and then start tune from there. Let me see, what else do we have? This is the BMWs are short. Yeah, Chris says yes and no. If you want a car to put on the track and run, Carrera and Scale Electric cars are fun and work fine. Yeah. But remember, they're really made to run with magnets. That's how they're kind of designed. We usually take the magnets out of them, but magnets can really help a car that's struggling with grip and traction. And let's see here. George, is there a 72 Plymouth Satellite you could 3D print? Ooh, Patrick. Satellite Plymouth. What's the Dodge? Is that the Roadrunner? So I'm sure there is something out there. Is there a formula for triangle by scale? That's a good question, Greg. I don't know. I know that sometimes the wheelbase on some of these cars, if I'm looking, the triangle is really, really close on these sideways cars. So, which tells me like it's basically the same chassis, and they're just forming it based on the body. But awesome. Thanks, Patrick. That's awesome. Yeah, when you say magic triangle, do you mean the tires, guide, and balance? Yeah, Daniel, that triangle is not the wheelbase as much as it's the triangle from the pivot point on the guide to the rear axle, and then the width of your stance. So that's what people were talking about when they talk about the magic triangle. And I think that triangle is different depending on the actual track you're on. So, yep. John already answered the question. Thanks, John. I appreciate that. Yeah, Timothy, if you're like into photography, I'm sure that you can really create some cool stuff for great pictures and lighting. D'Angelo, no problem, man. Todd, thanks. I'm glad you're enjoying it. For the price, man, you just can't beat it. So we'll give away one more since they never responded back to me. So I'm finally getting to that. Wow, I probably asked that 10 minutes ago, didn't I? Sorry, guys, it's taking me. So we got some people who are interested in it. Yep, Simon says, I'm very interested. Patrick. PP Dangler. Steve says, call Slot Car Corner. Yes, please. Yay, Mets. That's right. Interested in the true. Great. Awesome. Great, guys. B2. Daniel made my car look good in his first race at Cincy Slots. Yeah, he did. He did great. That's a tricky track because that it's Carrera, but it's older Carrera. It's had a lot of laps on it. And so like I feel like my track has a little different grip compared to Bruce's. B2, just in case I missed it. Thanks, man. That's great. It's a secret Weber. I don't have a tire truer, but some of the others might need it much more. Thanks. Daryl, you're invited. I think you're going to try to come on the 19th, aren't you? to race, not to direct the race. Don't be crazy. John Albright says, short and sweet, the my is measured from the center of the guide post to the outside centers of the rear axles. Dusty, thank you. Thank you. He doesn't need one. Longer leads are beneficial for faster, more sweeping tracks. Shorter lead lengths allow the cars to transition quicker in shorter, tighter tracks. John is on it. He is answering those questions. Fantastic explanation. I'm sure there's some videos, and maybe I need to do one just with the basics to help people understand. A funny, I think I mentioned it Sunday night. Marco and Carlos from Electric Dreams stopped by the track last week. They were in Ohio. They basically said, hey, we're going to be driving by your house on the way to the airport. Can we stop by and say hi? And so we were interviewing. They interviewed me, and I asked them some questions, and I have to laugh. He mentioned my channel and mentioned the live stream, and that like sometimes I'm not always right. I was like, thanks, Marco. Yeah, just pointed out the fact that I'm not right all the time. But he was talking about I just thought it was funny that he mentioned, there's a lot of information out there, and sometimes you're not right. And I'm like, that's right. I'm not right. And that's why all these people in the chat are here to help me as still a pretty green person in the hobby, make good decisions and put good information out there. So like when John is answering questions like this is why. This is good stuff. So I get corrected when I need corrected. And I am not too proud to allow that to happen. That's what I love about the live chat. So what else we have? Let's see. Dave put the links to the lead out there. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate that, brother. Hey, Dahi, welcome, man. Good to have you. Hopefully you're doing well. Kind of like a paper cut, but heavier. Yeah, lead paper cut. That sucks. I'm running the newest Elva with 0 weight, and it has been sticking as good as my weighted Elva cars. That's really interesting. But, Daryl, you're not the first person that said that. Do you think that maybe it's because the motor is just a touch, just a little less RPM, and so maybe that allows that car to be a little more manageable? That might be the case. So I know we were giving Thunderslot a hard time about the new motors that they were using, but maybe there was a reason. Check out the Can-Am car Max. It's special. Kids wake up, check phone, and Marty's live. Let's pop in and say hi. Hey, Doug. What's up, brother? Thanks for joining, man. That means a lot. It's the middle of the night for you, man. Get back to bed. But I'm serious. We're going to get a chance to race together one time. At some point, our paths are going to cross, and I look forward to that, bro. Looking forward to it. What else do we have? NASCAR ones. Yeah, the NASCAR ones look really good, George. I'm not going to lie. Not going to lie. Is there anyone who makes a chassis for a Mustang notchback Skeletric as the one that's on it is rubbish? Slightly mad that CG Slots make a chassis for the Mustang, but I'm not sure about the notchback. But I'm guessing that those are probably very similar chassis, so it might work. But that might be a really good question for CG Slots Direct to see if they actually have a kit to convert that to a 3D printed chassis. I bet there was a 3D printed chassis out there on Shapeways, but we know that Shapeways is gone. So if you know somebody has access, there's probably a file out there for a chassis. But I would check with CG Slots. They just released the 1970 Camaro a few weeks ago, I think, or last week. I saw that, and Slot Car Corner has it in stock. It's $19 for that 3D printed chassis. So I would check that. But I know that they have one for the Mustang, but it might be the fastback like this. It might be like this, but I'm guessing that the chassis, there's a chance that the chassis might be the same. But I'd send CG Slots a message on Facebook or something and see. Anyway. Let's see. Did I miss? I feel like I missed. Did I miss something? Okay. Hopefully that answers your question. I would give them a try. I would love to see 65 Belvedere satellite. That's cool, Todd. Yeah, that would be fun. Who makes aftermarket chassis for notchback Skillectric? Yeah, CG Slots might. So now that Shapeways is in bankruptcy, I don't know where you might find chassis for the Mustang. Yeah, it might be a little difficult. Cool, Chris. That's awesome. DW Barker is interested. Daryl, race director is not your only skill. Again, sandbagging. He'll come up and win. That's cool. The heart is measured not in size, but by love. There you go, Steve. That's right. Terry Man, Marty, you explain things so well. A video on basics would be great for a newbie like me. Thanks, Terry. I will consult with the great John Albright and make sure I've got my details on that. And I will, over the next couple of weeks, I will work on a video explaining the triangle. But I have a feeling that somebody else has already done it, so I'll do a little bit of research too, and maybe I'll share somebody else's video. I feel like Jim Rose did a video on that, if I'm not mistaken. Just at least he mentioned some details about that triangle. Steve, I'm not sure. Sometimes that happens. Thomas, who is right all the time, as the old saying goes, even the broken clock is correct twice a day. That's right. Thanks, Thomas. I appreciate that. Marco didn't mean it to be mean. He was just, I think that it was, part of it was language, right? His natural language is Portuguese. I just thought it was really funny. I got a couple NASCARs coming, the 5 Larson and the Elliott. Also waiting for the 911 RSR to ship from Carrera. Thanks. That's cool. You will like those cars. Those cars look really, really good. Those will be my next Carrera cars. I will definitely at least pick up one of them, and I will review that on the channel. I'm not lucky enough for Carrera to know who I am for them to send me something to review. And I don't cover them well enough. I did early on, but I haven't covered them in a while. But I cover their track all the time. I'm a fan of their track for sure. Maybe they're using the same softer plastic on the new Elva chassis that they're using on your Ferrari. That's possible too, Daryl. When I compare it to, other Thunder slots, it's definitely different. Yeah, Chris's build is great, Doug. I agree. Sasha will be the driver. She expresses a desire to do more videos. I'll comply. There you go. I watch all the chassis builders and learn something every time. Yeah, me too. Greg, your latest chassis looks really good, man. Steve, I want the Buick Grand National. Steve, order it. It looks fantastic. It's really, really good. Drink roast coffee. That's right. Drink roast coffee. So I have one last thing before we call it quits. I've got a little bit of time. Earlier today, I saw a Facebook post where slot car enthusiasts built a scratch chassis out of flat computer board stock. He ran the finished car, and it ran great. That's actually a great idea. Jim, Marcos, he's a mean person. No, he wasn't being mean. It was just so funny. I laughed at him like I had to laugh. I thought it was great. Hopefully that stays in the conversation. The Oliver chassis for Scalextric notchback Mustang. The Googs is your friend. There you go. The Oliver chassis, I really like those. But now that Shapeways isn't printing them, where can you find them, John? Is there a link out there to buy them? Yeah, Doug, you're right. I thought it was hilarious that he said that. And I know that that's not what he really meant. It was kind of lost in the... Marco's probably going to watch this and call me out. He should be watching this. Marco did give me some things on Wednesday that in a couple days, I've got a couple things sitting right over here on the table that I'll be able to share with you. I'm super excited about those, but I do have one thing to share before we get too deep into this. Let me just make sure I got to the end. Make sure I didn't miss any questions. Is that chassis for the 66 Mustang 2? Chief Redback. Folgers Classic Roast still does it for me. There you go. Oh, there you go. So, guys, Electric Dreams stocks Oliver. Fantastic. I'm going to clear some things out. So today is October 1st, guys. Yesterday, and today, retailers started shipping the new Jackie Oliver Shadow. Now, it's over on the track. I have the original, the first Shadow. And so I thought maybe, Jamie, some of Butch's Formula Ford cars were built using circuit boards. Oh, that's right. They were, weren't they? That's really pretty cool. I've not raced any of those. Yes, I have. Daryl has one. I did some laps with it the first time we were ever at Cincy Slots. But I haven't opened this yet, but this is the new Jackie Oliver, the 101 Shadow. And so we'll do an opening here and get it out. Marco left this with me and said, hey, will you do a review? And then he looked up on the shelf and realized I had the first version. But so let's move over to the phone. I don't know if anybody has been looking forward to this this car, but I've not opened it. So it looks like it's limited to 1,950 worldwide. So this one is not numbered like the first one was. At least I don't see it on the card, but that's pretty cool. So 1,950 pieces. So if this is a car that you want, you'll probably want to get your order in soon. I noticed that the price is really going up online for the first version of the Shadow. MRSLOTCAR, very nicely packaged in the jewel case. Guys, that's a good-looking car, man. You cannot go wrong. Now, this actually is the one that I remember. Watkins Glen, 1974. Not that I remember racing, but this is the livery that I remember our neighbor having a model of. And he was super excited about it because it was called the Shadow. And it really was my first foray into racing because he raced go-karts with my dad. And so, but I remember this car vividly as a kid. The detail is really great. If you've seen pictures, you know that there's that red square on the front, 101, lead-free. the American flag. It's a great looking car. So we'll take it off the base. I don't think there were any changes in this car from the first version. I'll grab this. This does have a magnet installed. That's kind of surprising. But now that I think about it, then maybe the first one did too. The guide setup on this is really interesting because, you look, there is not a lot of room. Not a lot of room. Yeah, Doug, the detail. Yeah, I think, Doug, you probably got to see one. Maybe. I can get that up. You probably got to see one of these when you were, I know they were passing these cars around. But we can actually throw this one on the track and run it. But let me grab the other one real quick so we can compare to see if there was any changes. Of course, this one I've already set up. It already has hundreds and hundreds of laps, probably thousands of laps on it, actually. But I don't see any difference. Both have the same spur gear, so it comes with the same gearing. Doesn't look like anything's changed on the bottom. But when you look at them side by side, a few differences in the liveries. This is a car that didn't have a lot of different liveries. These are the two main liveries. Online I've seen a yellow one, and I just don't know if that's somebody that's purchased one and repainted it. But the detail is really good. So you got the George Fulmer was the first one, and the number 1, and the new one with 101. I have put super tires on this. I'm trying to remember the number. Daryl, you might have to bail me out on that. Are those 2112s, maybe 2102s? I can't remember. I usually have that stuff memorized. But that tire works good if you're looking for silicone. Let's look at the rear detail. That detail is the same. I will say I did crack and had to re-glue one side of the wing. But it took a pretty good hit to make that happen. So it's pretty hefty. It's a car that can take a beating. It's a really nice car. I could run some laps, but I've not done any tuning. I just opened it up. But really, really a very nice car. That became available today. I would say pre-orders got shipped out yesterday. So people will start getting them. They'll start arriving in the next day or two. But I would say with the limited numbers, it is still a limited edition car. If that's something you're interested in, you want, I would jump on it. I wouldn't waste time getting an order in. So, and that should be available at Electric Dreams. Obviously, this is where this came from, but all the other retailers will have those. So, I think they already have them in hand and then are shipping them out. So, if you pre-ordered, you probably got your notice from LEB or anybody that you ordered from. So, wait a second. I'm only missing one, John. It's laying in the plastic junkyard over at the track. I need to glue it back on. I do have it. I haven't lost it. It's laying over there. But those mirrors are pretty. They're tall and they're probably pretty fragile. But yeah, guys, great detail. This is a good looking car. And a great performer. So we can run some laps. I can compare a tuned one versus a non-tuned one. There are some things that I'd want to do. I would want to loosen the pod a little bit and loosen the body. Give it a little turn here. Okay. I will say, get them tuned up. These are really good performing cars. They do a nice job. Jim Rose has a really nice video out there of his tuning his the first version, and so if you want to catch that tuning video, I think that one is a really good tuning video, and I think Jim took it out first try and won with it, if I'm not mistaken. Jim, if you're still in there, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but. Okay, we got a little bit of movement. The front end, let's see how the front end is set up. Where's my setup block? Guys, thanks for hanging in tonight. I don't know how many are still left. 64 people. So that's awesome. Thank you for taking the time to hang out. Yeah, we might as well take us apart. All right. It's not going to hurt anything. Yeah, we could fluff the braid. On the braids, something I like to do is I like to take something small, put up here, and bend that braid back so that it stands up just slightly. And I'll do the same thing over here. So kind of fold that braid over that. And then I like to give it sort of that profile on both sides. And then I like to fray that edge. I should probably ask if I need to send this car back. I probably shouldn't do this to the car. So, all right. The front, there's a lot of slop in the front. I know you get in the package. Do you get anything on the bottom of the? No, nope. So we're good. So let's take it over to the track and see if we can run a few laps, and then we'll call it a night. I'll throw a microphone on. this off. Default. There we go. So there you have it. Some laps with the new MRSLOTCAR. That's a nice car, guys. If you're a fan of the Shadow, definitely one you want to have in your collection. The detail in the driver is a little different than the first one. So it's very, very to scale. Slight different in the livery and how the decals are. But, man, that looks good. Looks great. Guys, let's wrap things up. What do we have? I'll check the chat one last time. Phil is still building his 4-lane. Oh, wait. It went all the way to the top. Let me go to the bottom. Picture 200 mile an hour and 1/32 scale. The car is a dud. Take it back. Marty mocking my driving. Unless they're as fast as my cars. Hey, Marty, you can use the new zoom feature for the practice screen, and I think everyone could see the lap times. Oh, you're right. I could zoom in. Yeah, that's cool. That's Vin. That's right. A little too much caffeine. Calm down, Marty. Gary, I have one. I have a reach. Doug, I do need a Marshall in that corner. If you tape it, then you lose some body float. You do. I think in this one, though, I did tape a little, and it just softened. And that's why it's so quiet and smooth, I think. Let's see. 1/32 plastic cars don't go fast enough to have any aero effect. They run blue lights in South Carolina. I thought I had a volunteer firefighter behind me. But guys, magnetic downforce is a different story. That's what I've got going on in this one. So I'm going to have to take the magnet out to do a true test. But I'll put a review video out there. The car's worthy of that. It looks good. Hey, and I didn't break any mirrors off, John. Guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. So Jim says, try building the Shadow with the 050 motor. MR makes a pod for it. That would be a good test. I'll have to order that. Thanks. Guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. I really appreciate it. It means a lot that you would spend your Tuesday night with me. And we'll wrap things up. Glad I caught the last half hour or so live. We'll catch up with the rest. Hey, thanks, Doug. And thanks for tuning in. Guys, I really appreciate you. I really do. And go have some fun racing. Oh, I should probably say before I shut down, shout out to Electric Dreams, for Marco, for the visit. Carlos, it was great meeting you guys. Thanks for letting me test this car. I'll make sure it gets back to you safely, and I appreciate it. So, guys, go have fun racing.